Hey, welcome back, folks. Welcome to another video. In this one, we're going to talk about Iceland's study making a 4-day work week. And we're going to go ahead and listen to Kyle Kalinske from Secular Talk. He's going to give us a little bit of the rundown of this article and of the study. Let's check it out.
So we have another trial on a 4-day work week that just came out. This one is in Iceland. The BBC says, trials of a 4-day week in Iceland were an overwhelming success and led to many workers moving to shorter hours, researchers have said. The trials in which workers were paid the same amount for shorter hours took place between 2015 and 2019. Productivity remained the same or improved in the majority of workplaces, researchers said. Wow.
Yep.
A number of other trials are now being run across the world, including Spain and New Zealand. In Iceland, the trials run by Reykjavik City Council and the national government eventually included more than 2,500 workers, which amounts to 1% of Iceland's working population. A range of workplaces took part, including preschools, offices, social services providers, and hospitals. Many of them moved from a 40-hour week to 35 or 36-hour week. Researchers from the UK think tank Autonomy and the Association for Sustainable Democracy in Iceland said, hold on one second here. The trials led unions to renegotiate working patterns, and now 86% of Iceland's workforce have either moved to shorter hours for the same pay or will gain the right to. They'll gain the...
Oh, man, can you imagine? I mean, unions are virtually destroyed in this country. I mean, there's an argument to be made paying all these dues to a union. The union bosses end up getting paid tons of money, and what do they really do for you, right? But unions overall, I mean, they're such an amazing thing. They're the one kind of tool that workers have against their bosses and the owners to make sure they're getting fair treatment and fair wages, right? And, you know, unions have just been destroyed. Few of us that are still lucky enough to be in them. I definitely benefit from the union I've been a part of just because, I mean, they really go to bat to people for people in my profession to make sure that we don't get fired or treated differently or given unfair pay and benefits compared to others. Really, I remember my boss even saying, you would basically have to run around the grounds naked, streaking across for them to fire you, just because our union is so strong and so protective. Luckily, none of us do that, right? All right, back to this.
To work 4 days instead of 5 days. That's amazing. Workers reported feeling less stressed and at risk of burnout and said their health and work-life balance had improved. They also reported having more time to spend with their families, do hobbies, and complete household chores. So they're saying, everybody's saying it, all the articles are saying it, the trial here was an overwhelming success. Instead of working 40 hours, what if you worked 35 hours, but you were just as productive, if not more productive, and you're happier because you get to do other stuff that really fulfills you.
That's right. You do.
I love that 86% of the work... They do the trial, and now 86% of the workforce is going to have the option to work for the same pay and only work 4 days instead of 5 and lower their hours by about 5. I can never in a million years imagine that happening in the U.S. It should, but they said...
There's so much we have to deal with first. Not only is the dollar collapsing, the economy's right behind it. I mean, for real. The chances of us getting to more rights for workers when that's looming in the distance, I mean, come on. Not to mention just the total takeover of all institutions and organizations with this woke ideology. There's a lot of things that we need to battle as citizens before we could ever hope to get this in the U.S. Good idea, though, I mean, the pandemic really has shown, that people can be just as or more productive working remotely at home while also getting that extra time to work on hobbies and spend time with family. It's a good test case to kind of see that. Now, for other people, people like me, with tiny children, it was almost impossible to get as much work done as I used to in the office. But, I can see how in the future, as they get older, it'll be easier. And that's actually my goal, is to work from home, do my own thing. But again, by and large, these kinds of measures allowing workers to have more freedom to live their actual lives, and to seek a better quality of life instead of working all the time and stressing over all of their bills and all of that stuff. I mean, we have to start moving in this direction.
Unions negotiated for it and apparently won. Wouldn't universal unionization be kind of nice? Wouldn't it be nice if 70% of the U.S. workforce was unionized? The working class would be so much healthier if that was the case, man. So much healthier. But listen, as I tell you guys every time we talk about this issue, there was a time during the Great Depression, in the process of crafting the New Deal, where we almost got a 4-day work week. We almost got a 30-hour work week. In fact, it was in a bill that passed the House, but it didn't get through the Senate, and there was some other compromise made on another issue involving the New Deal. And even back then, you read presidents in the early 1900s, Republican presidents, were saying things like, people should get paid time off by law. You should get at least a month or two off paid by law. Back then, the conservative Republicans sounded like Bernie Sanders today on that issue.
Doesn't surprise
Nobody
me.
batted an eyelash. Everybody was like, yeah, of course. We got industrialization. These machines are coming up. Soon they're going to do the work for us, and we're going to get the pay. It's going to be awesome. We'll only have to work didn't Keynes thought that by this era, we'd only have to work 15 hours a week because technology would take care of it for us. And we have the capability for that to be the case, but the system is not rational, so we haven't adjusted to that in a positive way. Of course, you have 1% reaping all the rewards, and everybody else is screwed.
Right.
But I love this, man. 4-day work week is becoming a real thing around the world with all these trials. All of them are successful. Other trials where virtually everything's been successful is the UBI trials. Imagine if we had a UBI, and imagine if we had a 4-day work week. Just on that alone, the alleviation of some anxiety and depression and other symptoms that people have psychologically, I think that alone would help so much. So
Yeah,
much.
for
But, of
sure.
course, we're going to drag behind the rest of the world on this front, too. I just hope this movement keeps spreading, because all I'm seeing is positive things about it.
These kinds of measures, they work for people that find fulfillment outside of work. A lot fewer of us nowadays are finding fulfillment in life through work. Some are still lucky and can do so. And so, for them, it's like, heck no, give me 80-hour work weeks because I love this. But those of us doing the grind, the 9 to 5 or just the average jobs, even up through kind of the middle class jobs, we're not passionate about what we're doing. We don't want to get our fulfillment from that because there is none to be had there. A lot of people's work is so disconnected from the actual outcomes of the organization, company, whatever it is they're working for, that it's hard to make that connection and make it meaningful, But anyways, I think these measures are definitely a move in the right direction, and we should look at these in the United States. Again, we have a lot more things to face as a society that we need to overcome or get through, I think, before we'll even be able to start having these conversations again. But the populists are there on left and right, and I think a lot of these arguments are gaining popularity within those circles, and that we do have so much more kind of in common on these things that help the working class, in opposition to the 1%, that we really can move that direction. We need to just transcend the politics again of the right and left, and think more about those of us small L libertarians and populists who want to live and let live, but also want a small state that properly enforces reasonable regulations. And some of these some of these things for offers these things for workers so that they just have a better quality of life. So anyways, these kinds of things, they're not really gonna help right now. We're headed towards the mother of all collapses, I would say. The Fed's doing a great job of keeping it afloat, but damn, dude, the money printing. Yeah, you only need to follow the story of GameStop and AMC stocks to see how just wildly volatile and crazy our economy is and our markets are. And you got those of us apes that we really are all about buying these stocks so that we can cost the 1%, billions and billions of dollars. That's the goal, I would say. If some of us get a little financially more secure out of it, awesome. If others get disgustingly rich off of it, then hell yeah, dude. Power to the apes. But anyways, that's a story for another day. So think about these things, man. I think this is a way that we can come together. Again, 99% against the 1%. It's Occupy 2.0, man. That's what we're in and what we need to fight for. That'll be it for me. Like, share, subscribe, all that junk, and I'll see you in the next one. Later,